I think the best argument for infant baptism isn't a cumulative case from historical evidence, but a theological argument. We know who should be baptized by answering the prior question, what is baptism for? You would then get this kind of informal argument. Baptism is for spiritual regeneration. All people need spiritual regeneration. Therefore, all people who can be baptized should be baptized. Keep in mind, this isn't a strict logical argument, and there's a few assumptions being made in the premises. For example, there can be spiritually unregenerate people who should not be baptized. These include adults who vocally reject baptism, children whose parents vocally reject baptism, and unborn children whose unique living condition makes baptizing them unfeasible or in some cases impossible without harming them. Notice also that there is a difference between doctrine, what the faithful are allowed or bound to believe, and discipline, what the faithful are allowed or bound to do. In many cases, the church can have uniform doctrine, but it takes time for correct disciplines to be fully implemented throughout the church that are in harmony with said doctrine. In this case, infant baptism is a discipline, and I agree many people in the early church were inconsistent in applying this discipline. But baptismal regeneration is a doctrine, and the evidence for the antiquity of this doctrine is overwhelming. So the case for infant baptism rests on two premises. The first is that baptism saves us from sin. It spiritually regenerates us and communicates the grace of justification. Baptism is not a sign we have already been justified or saved from sin. Baptism is, as 1 Peter 3:21 says, that which saves us. The second is that all people need spiritual regeneration, and so we ought to baptize infants. This premise is needed to address members of denominations like the Church of Christ, who believe in baptismal regeneration but do not practice infant baptism.